I think people have realized over the last couple of years that, the freedoms that we take for granted, we might have to pay more attention to.
If our audience doesn't know and hasn't heard us talk about this, maybe you're new to the podcast. State organizations are nationwide. Many states, most states have a Christian state homeschool organization. And those organizations are there to help you. They're there to support you. They're there to watch legislation and fight for your freedom to continue homeschooling. They know what's going on, all over the nation, but really in your state. They're really honing in on that. And they're really important organizations, and we need to be supportive of each of our individual state organizations, but we also need to know why they exist. And so, Suzanne, you mentioned, I think in the first episode, that you are the chairman of the board.
Yeah.
Isn't that it? That I always think of Monopoly when I hear that, because isn't that one of the little Monopoly cards, like the chairman of the board,
Oh,
does
no.
something, I don't know, is going to gift
Yes.
you with $100 or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Well, so Suzanne's not going to gift every one of us with
Yeah.
$100, but she would if
Not
she
today.
could, I'm sure. But you're the chairman of the board for
Mhm.
FPEA, which is the Florida Parent Educators Association,
Mhm.
and then also director of events. So this event is your baby, along with a huge team that you have, of course, that's putting on this Florida Homeschool Convention coming up at the end of May. I want to talk first about why you got involved in your state organization and what's the purpose of your organization?
Yeah, sure. So I went to the convention that we have in Orlando and was just so touched by all of the opportunity that was there, and you can see that one of the main goals of FPEA when you go to the convention is to help educate and equip parents
Yeah.
to understand how to homeschool, but also to really encourage them. And so I got all of that from the convention. I served in our local homeschool group on the board there, and always was willing to lead and do things. And I saw that there was a space available, and never had any sights on being the chairman or going any higher than that, but really just wanted to be there to help that convention function, because it was so good. And at that point in time, it was really the main event that FPEA had. It was the
Yeah.
thing. So that was how I got involved and why I started. And then, through the course of a couple of years, ended up as chairman of the board, which has just been a blessing, because this organization is over 30 years old. And it was good and strong before me. But, it's a blessing, and it's humbling to think, okay, I've got an opportunity to continue this, and bring good, to this next generation of homeschooling families. And so that's been great. It's been a challenge. And then we, a couple of years ago, started implementing other events. So we have events probably 8 months out of the year.
Wow.
That are, ways for our FPEA and homeschooling community to connect. You don't even have to necessarily be a member of FPA to connect with us and do these different events. So, seeing that the community has expanded to what it is, part of our mission now is just to take that community and connect with them everywhere that we can, so that we can continue to encourage them and equip them. But a huge part of what we do and have done from the very beginning, FPA was formed for the purpose of getting the right to legally homeschool in Florida. And, we had a lobbyist that came from this group of families, and they were like, let's lobby here and let's have a support group here. And FPEA was the support group that kind of blew up. And, the lobbyist is still the lobbyist working with us today to protect homeschooling freedoms in Florida. So when you join a state organization, that's what you're joining for. I mean, none of it matters if we don't have the right to homeschool legally in our state. So, that's huge. And we've recognized that and spent, hundreds of thousands of dollars for that purpose over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an incredible ministry that you have and that so many others have in states all across the nation. And there are some states that don't have homeschool organizations, but they'll
Mhm.
kind of piggyback onto another state, neighboring
Right,
state, who
right.
can help them as well and bring that encouragement. But it is so important, you guys, to be involved in your state organization, whether you're a member, whether you are, just a prayer warrior for them. Pray for these people who are really on the front lines of this battle, because there are people, if you haven't seen the movie, Schoolhouse Rocked, you've got to watch the movie, because we talk about the history of homeschooling and how it took years of a fight in many states to win the freedom to homeschool. And most parents, the majority of parents who homeschool today, have no idea that until, what was it, 1993, I think,
Mm,
or I think it was 93, that it was even legal in all 50 states to
right.
homeschool.
Mhm.
Before that, it wasn't. I mean, Zan Tyler talks about how she was threatened with jail time
Yeah.
for wanting to homeschool her kids. And I mean, it's just incredible what these homeschool pioneers went through, and that we get to enjoy the benefits of the fight that they fought for us
Mhm.
to be able to homeschool our kids today. And it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. I mean, let that just set in for a minute. Imagine if we didn't have the freedom to homeschool our kids. Imagine, there's lots of countries, Germany, is one. In
Mhm.
Germany, they can't homeschool their kids. They have no
Right,
option but to put their kids in a public or private school. Um,
right.
but we have the freedom to do this, and praise God for that, because we still are land of the free in some ways, because
Mhm.
of many of the brave.
Yeah.
And so we are so incredibly grateful, Suzanne, for the work that you and your team put into um,
Mm.
the work that you
Yeah.
do.
It's an
Yeah.
honor to be able to be a part of it. And I think people have realized over the last couple of years that, the freedoms that we take for granted,
Yeah.
we might have to pay more attention to. And
Yep.
it's very important for us to pass the torch to our
Yes.
children. They
Yeah.
need to know why it's important to continue to fight for that freedom and to continue to support a state organization. And, we homeschool in so many different ways, and
Hmm.
there's so many different communities that we can connect with. And I encourage that. We have so many different people at our convention that represent different methods of homeschooling, approaches to homeschooling, and communities that you can, be a part of.
Yeah.
But regardless of how you homeschool or where you homeschool, just financially becoming a member of your state organization and supporting the work that they're doing for the legislative
Yep.
side
Yeah.
of your state, that's huge, and that's so needed. And that's, I always encourage people to join
Yeah.
for those
Yes.
reasons. So
Yeah, for sure. And another way to support your state organization is to go to their conferences. If your state
yep.
has a convention like FPEA, this is the one that's coming up May 26th through the 28th. I will be there. My whole family will be
Mhm.
there. I'll be speaking at that event. And there are so many good speakers. If you guys go to the website, and we'll put a link to it, of course,
Mhm.
in the show notes, but go to their website, check out their speakers, go to this convention. I mean, it's amazing when you go, and by going, you are supporting your state organization.
Yeah.
So it's fun, because you get the encouragement, you get the resources, you get to talk to other homeschoolers, you get to talk to the vendors, you get to, if you go to FPEA, you're going to get to watch the movie, the whole movie, Schoolhouse Rocked. It's going to be playing Friday and Saturday, both throughout the day. So you'll get to watch the movie. So that's a benefit, of course. But it is a good way to support your organization, because a lot of states, this is how they bring in funds to continue doing what they do. So,
Yeah, it's a huge effort. And I would suggest to look beyond the speakers and the workshops, because I know at our convention, there are so many other things. There are great programs for teenagers
yep.
and kids and, family
Leaders.
nights, things that are just really good. So many people have the mindset that it's funny to me, because I've been doing it for so long, that, oh, only parents should go. And can you bring your kids? And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
yes, the kids love the convention. So, I am always just encouraging you to go beyond just skimming it and see what's really there,
Yep.
because there's a lot of opportunity.
Yes. Yep. Yep. And as we've talked about before, if your husband is willing to go, take him with you, take the whole family. If not, a lot of moms just like to go with their girlfriends and their mama friends and go and have a weekend away, which is another amazing blessing, is to just have some mom time and encourage one another, pray for one another. And so it's such a fun event. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.